The Time to Design a Free Society, April 1964, by L. Ray, aka Rayo. Recently, I was drawn to an article from Innovator, written in April 1964 by Rayo. It is titled The Time to Design a Free Society, and is another one that could have honestly been written like yesterday. Roughly 60 years later, and the words are still timeless. But beyond that, he poses some interesting questions and ideas towards the building of a free society, much like what some of us envision with this PAZNIA Second Realm network. The Second Realm strategy consists of rebuilding all human institutions upon frameworks of voluntarism, a massive undertaking. It would behoove us to try out different strategies at different PAZNIAs and find out what works best. As one example, due to the recent events at JackFest, a dispute resolution organization plan is now out there for freedom festivals. I offered my insights, and I'm quite happy with how it is, even if only a first draft. And in terms of a free society, a parallel network, the most important task is connecting the already existing disparate freedom communities, of which there are many. This definitely got my mind going this morning. I hope it does the same for you. Anyway, before I turn you over to the article, a couple of quick announcements. First off, the second edition of my book, VONU, A Strategy for Self-Liberation, came out September 11th. You can find the foreword and introduction to it on this podcast feed, or on YouTube or Odyssey, or you can order the paperback edition from Liberty Under Attack Publications. Just visit libertyunderattack.com/VONU Book 2. Again, the link to order is libertyunderattack.com/VONU Book 2. The Amazon link is included too if you prefer that avenue. Secondly, we just concluded our third annual Gathering of Liberation, VONUFEST, here at the Free Republic of PAZNIA's Veritas Node. It was another amazing event of liberation, with many returning self-liberators and a few new important networking connections. But more importantly, speaking in terms of concrete efforts, a number of homestead projects were tackled with the help of some PAZNIANs. Some of these projects included replacing the bar on the PAZNIA Bar Grill and Outdoor Lounge, PAZNIA seed tree cleaning, trail clearing, harvesting the most massive sweet potatoes I've ever seen. The beehive area got cleared out, and the hive is set there for winter, and probably more that I'm forgetting. Point is, we got a lot done in addition to just spending physical space and time with those who truly get responsibility, freedom, and truth. For more information or for help getting vetted, you can find the Committee of Correspondence chat on Telegram, t.me/PAZNIA chat, or check out the website, PAZNIA.com/VONUFEST. You can also email coordinator@PAZNIA.com. Again, coordinator@PAZNIA.com if you prefer. Lots happening in the physical second realm. We do hope you consider joining us for VONUFEST 4 or our next event, Dab's Giving. Thanks so much for your time today, and always remember, VONU is yours for the making. And please enjoy Rayo's article from the April 1964 edition of Innovator, The Time to Design a Free Society. The Time to Design a Free Society, April 1964. The successful implementation of a society of liberty requires that valid answers be synthesized to a wide range of legal philosophical questions. Some of the more general questions are: what is a proper legal basis for a laissez-faire society? What should be the functions of government? How can these functions be financed? How should a government or other enterprise that performs these functions be organized? Will all potential problems which could negate individual freedom be automatically solved by free market competition? Today, when socialism threatens to engulf the world, it is very easy to become completely engrossed in combating the day-to-day collectivist idiocy and ignore or postpone long-range questions regarding the proper structure of a libertarian society. In fact, some individualist leaders have tended to depreciate the value of considering such questions now, declaring in effect, "Let us first achieve liberty, then we can concern ourselves with the details of it." Two assumptions implicit in this point of view are: 1, many decades will elapse before the United States becomes a free nation, and 2, freedom will come first to the United States. The first assumption is provably correct, the second is more doubtful. Nevertheless, the soundness of this point of view is questionable, even within the context of these assumptions. In fact, there is a potentially serious and real danger in postponing the theoretical danger, theoretical design of a laissez-faire society until we are on the threshold of such a society, and in generating a popular demand for total liberty without first working out a detailed conception of how to successfully implement liberty. One can appreciate the dangers of such a course of action by reviewing the history of an earlier ideological movement, noting 1, what the early intellectuals of the movement were seeking, 2, what the actual results were, and 3, why. During the first half of the 19th century, a certain kind of ideologist generally advocated abolishment of slavery, application of reason and science in place of superstition, freedom in sexual relations, the elimination of prudery and state licensing, freedom of children from coercive exploitation by their parents, freedom of international trade and migration, and alleviation of poverty. These ideologists were the early socialists. Today we are painfully aware of the horrors and misery which have resulted from socialism, in contrast to the good intentions and near-libertarian principles of the early advocates. What went wrong? The early socialist intellectuals concentrated on gaining popular support. They painted vivid pictures of a society they dreamed of a world without poverty, disease, unhappiness, or violence, but neglected the problems of how to implement their goals without contradiction as unimportant details to be resolved in the future. Some of their objectives, such as the abolition of slavery, were achieved in large measure, quickly and easily. But the dream which aroused the most popular supports, the elimination of poverty, can be achieved only by increasing productivity, not by legislative fiat. And the attainment of higher productivity requires time, even in a capitalist society. This, the socialists failed to consider and proceeded to arouse an intense popular demand for social welfare without acquiring nor conveying an understanding of the preconditions for prosperity. Less scrupulous leaders swept to the forefront of the socialist movement by catering to and further cultivating this demand, and found it expedient to discard libertarian ideals. Activists such as Marx noted that early experiments in voluntary communism were dismal failures, and instead of discarding communal ownership of property as incompatible with freedom, recommended instead that organized coercion be used to implement altruism. And Lenin and Stalin and Hitler proceeded to do this. Note that one glaring fallacy was sufficient to undo all the good intentions of the early idealists and turn their envisioned utopias into totalitarian police states. Today, some advocates of freedom are proceeding in a not dissimilar way, attempting to create a popular demand for freedom as a disembodied ideal without an accompanying understanding of what freedom entails, offering idyllic visions of a laissez-faire society without carefully examining feasibility, sometimes going so far as to cast aspersions on anyone who would shatter one of their beautiful dreams by pointing out bugs. At present, libertarians are few in number and high in overall creative ability. What today is a minor philosophical viewpoint may, in 50 years or so, be a powerful worldwide movement, attracting millions of critical followers. A seemingly innocuous philosophical error, if absorbed as part of the moral values of the majority, could lead to irrepressible demands for irrational actions and catastrophic consequences. Legal philosophy is a difficult and demanding subject. There are few easy solutions or pat answers to the challenging problems which arise. But to prevent the perversion of libertarian ideals, to build the foundations of a truly free future society, we must take time now to work out the means of implementing freedom. We should define operationally, as well as conceptually, the objectives towards which we are striving, predict the consequences of the societal structures we envision, and test out our theories, when possible, in small-scale developments. If libertarians, or anarchists, or Venuans proceed with care and deliberation, the millennium will be ours. El Rey. You've just heard the Time to Design a Free Society VONUFEST podcast, episode 162. You can read or find the show notes for this episode by visiting vonupodcast.com/162. For more on the liberating freedom strategy of VONU, vonupodcast.com is your place to go. For more on the free plug of PAZNIA, PAZNIA.com, PAZNIA.com to join the second realm, become a stakeholder, whatever you decide you would like to do. And with that, thanks so much for your time today, and always remember, VONU is yours for the making, and the second realm is yours for the building. Cheers.
In truth, everybody runs around every day talking about truth, and they're trying to get to the truth, and they want to hear the truth. That's one of the biggest lies I've ever heard in my life.
Soldier, keep on marching on. Head down till the work is done.
Most people have no desire whatsoever to even get within 100 miles of the truth, and in some instances, that's too damn close. So my conclusion is, most of you are going to get exactly what you're going to deserve over the next who knows how many years. Some of us are going to rise to the occasion. We are going to shine. We are going to shine. We're going to sparkle like diamonds in the sunrise on the most beautiful day that you can remember that you've ever seen in your life. And we're going to do it simply and only because it's the right thing to do. For the human race. For God. For our children. For the future of this world.
Keep on marching on. Head down to the
And it won't matter what happens to each of us as individuals.
on that morning sun.
The only thing that will matter
Keep on marching
is that we rose to the occasion. We sparkled. We did what was right when no one else would. We said what was right when no one else would. We spent our money for the right things when no one else would. We worked and toiled the cause of freedom when no one else would. We took the slander. We took the libel. We took the bullets. We took the prison. We took wounds. We took death. We took whatever was aimed at us. And we will prevail. It may take a long, long time. I may not see it in my lifetime. I may not live to be a part of the victory celebration, but I will be victorious. And all of those with me will be victorious. And we will shine.
Waiting on that morning sun. Soldier,
You all stand around and talk about it. We put on the armor of God a long, long time ago.